Hello YouTube and welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to share with you an update on the Lendpoint loan management system, which is a microfinance SaaS which I launched late last year. So over that period of time I've been working on it, and today I want to share with you some of the updates that I have been able to add into the system. And one of the notable features that I managed to ship is the multi-channel access, which allows member to query their mini statements via USSD, apply for loans, and also check their loan limits, as well as a member portal which allows member to check and track their mini statements. So if you are an entrepreneur or if you're a developer who is looking to venture into SaaS development, then this video is right for you. So I'm going to walk you through the entire process of how you can onboard members, how you can actually manage the members, the entire loan cycle. So let's get right into it. So upon onboarding to the system, you will be receiving an email which will welcome you to the system, where you will be receiving a welcome email which will have your temporary password that you can use to log into the system for the first time. Then you can change your credentials. So you'll receive an welcome email, and then you'll go ahead, proceed to the dashboard section, and then you can now change your password and start your organization setup. So this is going to be your dashboard. This is where you'll be redirected to once you have logged in with the temporary password that you have received via email. Then we advise that you first change the password that you received so that you have your new password. So to do that, all you need to do is to head over to the profile, and then all the way to the security section, and then here you can change your password. You can enter the old password that you received via email, and then you can supply your new password. So once that is done, we are now going to move to the next setting, and that is going to be the organization workspace. So that is where you are going to add things such as the dividend rates, the loan limits, as well as the interest rates for your organization. So let's head over to the settings section. Then from here you can see that I had already set up the workspace, but to walk you through the process of setting up your organization policies, all you need to do is to just click on settings. Then you can come here and set the name of your organization. Right now I'm using a name here that's called Credit SACCO Limited, and the trading name is going to be Credit SACCO. The business registration number, this is just a fictional number that I've supplied here. We also have the section for the contacts, where you can supply your primary and support email, your primary phone and support phone. I've just supplied my support phone here, as well as the physical address of that business. For this case, it's in Mombasa, Kenya. Then you also need to supply the city, the country, and a website. Now moving on, we also need to add other settings such as the branding. You need to add the branding for your organization, such as the logo, the secondary color, the accent color, and also the primary color. That is just used for branding, so that you have a different feel for every organization, because each and every organization have different theme colors and logos. So we've given them an opportunity to customize their workspace as they want. So that is for the branding. We also have localization, things such as the time zone, the currency, the symbol, and the default language. And then we also have the financial. This is where you need to set the interest rates, the dividend rate, the processing fee. This is the most important part in the organization setup. So make sure that you set the rules here that will govern your business. So for instance, you can change the processing fee from 5 to 3, and maybe the annual dividend rate is from 10, and then you just want to set it to 14 rather. You can also set the loan interest rate, the default one, 30, as well as the late repayment fee to 2%, all the way to the grace period. So let's go ahead and set the governance. This is what allows members to auto approve. I've just set that to false. And then finally we have the notifications. So once you're happy with the settings, just click on save. So the next thing that you're going to do next is now to work on the notification settings. That is how you want your members to receive notifications. Do you want them to receive loan reminders, the transaction notification, the welcome emails, and also statements? So you can customize that. You can schedule them here. You can manage those schedules. For instance, if you need the loan reminders, you can just set them in 3 days. So let's say I want to remind them every 2 days before the due date. The transaction notification, you can toggle it to on or off. The welcome email, of course, you want to set this on to receive the welcoming emails. And also the statement notification, you can set it to monthly, daily, or even weekly, but I just like to keep it at weekly, and should be on the first day of the month. And then let's set the time, so you can always control the time just like that. And then once you're happy with the schedules, just click save. So we are almost good to go. The last setting is now going to be on the integration section. So you need to do is to just come to overview, and then under integrations we have three types of integrations here. The first one is payments, communication channels, as well as CRB. So for the CRB, it's still a work in progress. We haven't really added the CRB score here, but in the future we are looking to implement the CRB integration here to be able to protect the business owners. Then let's first begin with the payments. We have two payment categories here. You can either have both of them, or you can decide to work with mobile money or bank integration. So for the mobile money, you're going with the M-Pesa. So for my case here, I've already set up my integration for the mobile money here. You need to supply your live keys so that you can actually have the B2C and the C2B transactions coming through. So you first need to make sure that you have your live credentials for this one to come through. So you can always edit them if you want to. For instance, we have the short code, we have the security credentials here, as well as the consumer and secret key. It's a plug and play, so you just need to plug in your API credentials and then you're good to go. You can do the same with the bank integration. So if you head over to bank integration, you can come here and just add your bank account, you add the API keys, as well as the secret code. So this one can be found easily from the bank. Different banks have all their own APIs, so you can make sure that you get your credentials. Or if you don't know how to set up this, you can just reach out to us for the support team, then we'll be able to help you get your banking API keys as well as the M-Pesa production keys. And then the next one is the communication. You need to go ahead and register for something like a branded SMS that is going to be a sender ID with a SMS provider, bulk SMS provider like Africa Stocking or just any other provider, and a USSD where the members now will be able to access your system via the service code that you registered, as well as the branded SMS for notifications. So for USSD, all you need to do is to go for something like Africa Stocking, go register for a USSD, whether it's a dedicated one or a shared one, and then we will be able to help you set up the callback URL as well as the process of going live. So that is it for the USSD integration. And for the SMS, it's the same thing that applies. All you need to do is just apply your configuration keys here, and then you will be good to go with the notifications. So that is it for the setting up of the workspace for your organization. That's the first thing that you really need to do once you have been onboarded to the system. So that is the first thing that you do. Then the next thing that you're going to do now is to onboard your own members, because an organization can only work when it has some members and maybe staff. So the first thing we're going to do is to walk you through the step of onboarding members. Remember, we have two ways of member onboarding. We have USSD, where members can do self-registration and then they get approved by an admin, or you can also onboard your members as an admin. So let's start with the first one, where we are going to onboard a member here via the admin. So we're just going to say add member. Then you're going to get this multi-step form where you need to fill in all the information from personal all the way to the documents. So the personal, I'm going to start with my first name. I'm just going to use my name, the last name. The middle name is optional, so you don't need to add it, but you can as well add it if you want to. And then we have the contact information. I'm just going to supply my phone number. And then for the email address, make sure that you enter a valid email address. This is where the notifications will be sent, the mini statements, and all other communication regarding this organization. So just make sure that it's a valid phone number. So I'm going to add my phone number here. And then we need to add a national ID. This is going to be just a random ID. So the location for the member, I'm going to add my location here. You also need to enter some financial information such as the loan limit. This can be done using two ways. First way is that you can do it manually by just scanning through the member's mini statement manually, the hard copies, or you can use our AI insights to be able to calculate for you the loan limit of this member based on the transactions in the loan limit. We also have an AI insight for identity, where you can verify if the identity or identification document is valid or not. So we'll come into that in a few, but for now let's go ahead and assign a loan limit here for this member. Let's say this member qualifies for 8,000. The credit score of this member based on the statements, let's say this member has a credit score of 89. And then the employment information, you can set whether the member is employed, self-employed, and also unemployed, or maybe a farmer. So let's go with the member who is self-employed, the name of the organization, and then you can set the monthly income for this member. Let's say the member earns that one per month. So next of kin is really important. It's required that MFIs or SACCOs have a next of kin. You can add more than one of next of kin, but you can only have one, at least one primary next of kin. So I'm going to supply the first next of kin. This is going to be Jane Doe, and then the relationship, this is going to be the parent. The phone number, I'm just going to add a fictional phone number here. And then also we have the address. I'm just going to add a street address here, fictional street. And then this is now the access channels. The members can be able to access the channel via all these access channels, but currently our mobile app is still on the works, so we are only going to enable USSD as well as the web portal. So those are the two that are currently active. And then lastly, you need to supply the photo, the identification document, and the financial document. So that is it for the financial statements. And now the next, we're just going to register the member by hitting on the register button. So once the member has been registered, the next thing that you need to do is that you need to activate the member. But before activation, notice that if you try to click on the activate button, it's not active. So we need to verify the KYC. So to verify your KYC, all you need to do is to head over to member, and then you click on next, 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 and then you just need to verify the details if they are valid or not. Once you're happy with the details, you can go ahead and verify the KYC, save the changes, and then now we can now activate the member. So once the member has been activated, the member will be sent the initial login credentials via the phone number that was registered. So that is going to be the member's registered phone number, where the SMS and also the emails will be sent. Let's click on activate. So as you can see, the login credentials has been sent to my phone number here once the registration has been activated, and also an email will be sent with the login credentials inside my email here. So let me, so you can see that the account has been activated. So the member will receive an SMS as well as an email upon activation. So that is it for the member registration. So the member is activated. We can now go ahead to the next step, and now let's look at how the member can now access the portal via USSD. So to be able to see that, dial this USSD code. Since this is a new member, this is a member that was onboarded via the admin, the first time they access the USSD channel, they will be prompted to set their PIN. So we're going to set a PIN number here, and we can also confirm the PIN. And now you can see that the PIN has been successfully set. So that is how we can set the PIN for a new member, and now they can actually access the loan products as well as check their mini statement. So if you come over here, if you just say apply for loan, you can see that we can apply for loan. We can select the loan that we want, and also we can specify the amount that we want to apply for this money. Let's say we want to apply for a loan of 100. You can just say 100 and then you say send. Then you also need to enter your PIN. So just like that, that is how you apply for a loan via USSD. So that is how members can actually access this channel. So now that you've seen how you can actually onboard member via the admin section and also get the member to be activated for the USSD channel, now let's see on how you can also register a member via USSD. So this is an entirely new member, so all you need to do is to click on register, and then you can enter the member's first name. I'm just going to say Jane, and then Doe, and then you can also add the last name. I'm just going to say Doe. Then the email, I'm just going to say test email at testemail.com. Then now for the USSD password, you can just set this one, confirm the PIN, and now we are good to go. The member has been registered, and now if you try to access the services again via USSD, we can see that the account is pending activation. Please contact your administrator. So remember, the members cannot just directly register and start accessing the system because we set the member auto approval to false. So we cannot activate, members cannot just register and start using. They have to be activated by visiting any of the offices as well as providing their documents for KYC verification. So if you refresh our member list here, we'll be able to see that we have two members. The first one was the one that you onboarded via the admin, and then this one here was the one which have been registered via USSD. Currently doesn't have any loan limit, so we need to do that by updating the members. So just continue, set the town. Let's say this member comes from Mombasa. So let's add some loan limit for this member. We can set a loan limit of 55,000, a credit score of 80. CRB status, you're going to leave it like that. The access channels, USSD, as well as the web portal. Then next, we can set some information for this, but I'm going to skip that for now, as well as update the KYC. Then you can go ahead and now just activate this member. So that is the entire flow of member activation as well as approval. So if you go back to our USSD here, we can as well run it. So now once we have that figured out, the next thing that we're going to do is that we are going to see how you can add some loan products, because members are basically here to apply for loans. So how do you add the loan products? All we need to do is to just come here. You can see that we have a few loan products that we do have in our organization. We have the Funika loan, the business loan, as well as the Zidisha loan. So we can add a new product by just coming here. You can add your product name. Let's say this is an investment loan. You can set the interest rate for your investment loan. Let's say the investment loan is at 40%. The minimum credit score for you to apply for a investment loan is 70. And then the loan duration, it can be 1 week, that's 7 days, 14 days, 28 days, all the way to 168 days for 6 months. So let's say this one to 28 days, that's 1 month. And then the installment frequency, they need to pay it weekly. And then the minimum amount for an investment loan, let's set it to 100. The maximum amount for an investment loan, we are going to set it to 30,000. So we also need to set the product description. This one you can just describe your loan, give it a description. Let's say this investment is only for investments. Then you get a summary of your product, then just create your product. So we have our loan product here. The next thing that you're going to do is now to add an actual loan application. So you just need to say new loan. So to add a new loan, you need to assign it to a member. So we can search the member via a member ID, or we can just search by the name. So I know that we have a member here. You can search by the name. Then you also need to select the product. I'm going to select the investment loan, as well as the loan amount. I'm going to say this member to apply for 100 Kenya shillings investment loan. Then this will give you a breakdown. The principal is 100, the interest is 40, the processing fee is 2%, that is 2 shillings. The installments are 4 because it was a 1-month loan with a frequency of 4 weekly repayments. Next, we're going to add a guarantor. For here, I'm just going to add another fictional name. Then the name, the phone number is going to be another one that is fictional. The email is going to be Jen, not just say test, user at mail.com. And then you can supply a national ID, right? And then now we can go and see a summary of the loan. You can see the applicant with the membership number here, the loan details. We have the details about the loan, as well as the guarantor details. So once you're happy with this one, you can just go ahead and submit it. So you can see that we have a loan here that is 100 with an interest rate of 40. The status now is pending because it needs to be approved by the business manager. And the way that we've developed it is that only the business manager can be able to approve the loan. So we have multi-role access where only the business manager can be able to approve it. Other types of staff, such as the branch manager or the loan officers, can just add loans and maybe add members, but they cannot do financial activities such as approval and disbursement. So let's head over to the loan itself. Right now, there is no payment history. The loan is also pending. We can see the member, the details about the loan, as well as the status. So what you're going to do is to just click on approve, and then the loan will be approved. If you go back to the application section, let's go to the members section, and then I'm going to select on the member here. We can see the details of the member. We have the credit score for this member. We also have the details about the member, their dishes, documents, as well as the credit score, which is excellent. And then lastly, we have the loan portfolio at the very bottom. You can see that this member has one loan which has been approved. Now if you click on that loan, it has a repayment schedule. So once the loan has been approved, it will generate a repayment schedule which is going to be in 1 month. So you can see with 20th of March, 27th of March, 3rd, as well as 10th of April. So that is the repayment schedule that is being generated upon approval of the loan by the business manager. So we have all those installments. The first one is 35, all the way to the last one, the status of pending. Once they get paid, it will be updated to paid. So that is it for the loan application. Now the next thing that you're going to do is now to actually disburse the loan. Since the loan has been approved, all we need to do is to just go back to our loan application and now view the loan. And now we have an option to disburse, and a loan can only be disbursed once it has been approved. That is why we could not disburse it before approval. So I'm just going to click on disburse, and that way the funds are going to be disbursed to my phone number. As you can see, the funds has been disbursed via the B2C API in my phone number. And you can also receive a notification here that the funds have been disbursed. So that is it for the loan disbursal. Now let's go back and see how the loans can be repaid, because right now you can see the total members are 2, the total disbursed is 100, the total repaid is 0, and the outstanding is 100. So we also have the recent transaction here at the bottom. And if you go back to the accounting, if you look at our general ledger, you can see that we have a disbursement amount that is over 100. So that's our general ledger for now. We're still working on other types of ledgers, but right now we have that. If also we go to the all transactions section, you can see that we have all these transactions here. You can also classify them into disbursements as well as repayments. So that is it for our transaction for the organization. Let's go ahead and repay the loan and see how they are being captured as well as how they have been distributed to the schedule. So I'm going to go ahead and make a repayment for the loan. Okay, so I've made a payment against the loan. So let's go ahead and check our dashboard section. We'll see a repayment. The total repaid is 150. That is true because I've paid an extra. I'll tell you why. And we also have the recent transactions here. If you were to go back to the members ledger, if you come back here, and if you go back to the loan portfolio, you can see that the loan has been closed. That is because the loan has been fully repaid. So the loans will be automatically closed once the loan has been fully repaid. So let's go ahead and view the repayment schedule. You can see that the total paid is 142 for the loan. Then it has been distributed across all these schedules. So 35 has been distributed across all the schedules, and then the status now is paid against all those. And we also have no penalties. Penalties will only be accrued when you miss a schedule here without paying the schedule. That is where a penalty will come. So we could have seen that penalty is still 0 because the penalties have not been accrued. So that is it for our installment schedule and also loan repayment. And if you were to go back to the loan section again, the applications, you can see that the loan has been closed. The principal was 100, and then the repayment date is also, the due date was that, but we paid it early. And then the payment history, you can also see the payment history for the member. There was a disbursement of 100. We also have a repayment of 50, the savings. So that is it for the loan repayments and also loan disbursement and also loan collection. So we have some few reports here. We have the finance, which has all the transactions. You can see all the transactions here. We also can query them by the disbursements, also the repayments. The last one, we have the 150. And then we also have the accounting section. We have the ledger here, which just gives you a list of member. This was a repayment, and also this was a disbursement. Now for the reports, we do have the loan applications report, where we can export as PDF. We can also export them in Excel here, as you can see. We also have the disbursements report, where you can do the same thing. You can also export PDF. You can also export them to spreadsheet, which can allow you to work with them in other program when you export them to spreadsheet. So that is it for the reports. You can see that the PDF has been loaded, the spreadsheet has been downloaded here. And then lastly, I want to demonstrate to you the insights. We also have AI insight here. For example, financial insights. Instead of just scanning through the mini statements manually, you can let our AI insight be able to pull for you all the records into the mini statements and also generate for you a summary based on the members' financial information in the mini statement. So let me give you a sample. You can just come to our AI insight. You can upload a mini statement, you can supply the password, and then you can analyze it. And then just like that, it will give you a credit score based on the transactions that are in the mini statement. So you can see this. We also have a summary of the figures that are present in the statement. For the identity insight, you can upload the identification documents such as a passport or an ID. So we can run that tamper check and check whether the identification document has been tampered with. Then you'll get a report here based on the AI insights. So that is it for our AI insights. I know there's still a lot of improvements that we need to do here in terms of the record. So that is one of the things that we're still working on. And then lastly, we have the audit trail. This just allows you to see who is accessing which resource from which device and at which particular time. This just allows you for tracking your system for security and for security compliance. And then lastly, we have the referral section where members can be able to refer. The organization can be able to refer other organizations to the Lendpoint platform, and then they can add some amount and withdraw them once they hit a certain limit. And then lastly, we do have the support. It's still not done yet. Ticketing systems such as Zoho, and that is something that we'll be able to do in our version 3 of the system. But right now, the ticketing system is not yet complete. We are looking to do that using other third-party ticketing system. So that is it for our Lendpoint loan management system version 3 of the system. So I'm logged out here. I'd love to log in. So that is how you actually onboard members. That is how you collect repayments. That is how you see the insight via AI and member management. So if you're a fintech developer or if you're an entrepreneur who's looking forward to build a system like this, then this is definitely the video and the channel for you. I'll be looking forward to building something like this with you on public here in YouTube. So if you are interested in such a video like this, you can make sure to give us a follow, like the video, and also share it for YouTube to actually recommend it to other people. Otherwise, thank you for everybody who took the time to watch the video, and see you in the next one.